It's a terrible webcam for an Apple. Welcome to BadDadJokes.com. When is an apple not an apple? When it's a pineapple. Today we'll be drawing a pineapple. It's a textural problem that many artists have had to deal with over time, and it's a great training tool that I think art education levels have used all over the place. So to start with, you're going to want to create a box and get your basic proportions down. Here you're watching me just do some brief outlines of the leaves, looking at the folds of the leaves in particular. I am looking at the actual thing instead of that photograph, but it's close. And I'm going to go ahead and just do an outline of detail, and then I'll probably outline the differences between dark and light areas as well, just a little bit to give me a mapping later. One of the biggest problems young artists make is they try to make it awesome right away. You need to put in your line work first before you get into the shading and the detail. Here you can see I start in on the leaves. I start in with something easy just to give myself a little bit of confidence, and then I'm going to go right into the base. This is the part that I don't want to do, that's miserable, it's not a lot of fun, is shading these individual pine cone. I'm not even sure what they're called, but they're difficult to deal with artistically, right? So you have to get in there, figure out your little subtle shades, and you got to decide what colors are dark or light. For instance, if you have a lime green and a bright orange, which one is darker? They may be the same tonal value because you're translating this image from color to graphite. So you have to make those arbitrary decisions sometimes. Most of the time it's apparent. You have a darker the darker brown or green area and a lighter yellow or orange area, and you can create those differences pretty simply. But it's not exactly easy, and a big part of why we practice repetition in our pieces, in our artworks, each piece being kind of a preparatory for the next piece that you're going to draw. A lot of the reasons that we do that is just to start informing our mind what decisions we need to make, what is the appropriate dark or light to make this work. Were I to draw this pineapple again, I would do a little better job the next time, because I would know that gosh, I really need more variety of dark and light. This became a little bit flat because I was so into the detail of it, I forgot to create the overall contrasting shades, continuing to get a little darker to one half of the pineapple to the next. But as it is, I was happy with the level of detail I was able to put in there, and that's what a challenging piece like this is all about. Nobody's ever going to get every little pine cone, pine needle. Sometimes art teachers will use a ram's horn because it's got all kinds of little textures to it as well. And it's difficult. And the idea is it's so difficult that it forces your brain to have to sometimes generalize, sometimes just make the best effective decision that you can and move on, because you don't have an infinite amount of time. I mean, some artists are hyper realist, but most of us need to move on with our day at some point, and so you do the best you can. I do shade darker down towards the bottom of each leaf to give it that three-dimensional appearance. This was by far the more fun part of the project, and so I spent a little bit more time on that. I lighten up one half of it and redarken the areas that I want to. I darken one half of it as well, and add a little bit of a drop shadow in here, a subtle one. And yeah, now when you sign your name, make sure it's visible, legible. Remember, it's not a bank check signature. All right. Some other things, habit I do is I photocopy my drawings. And I do this so that I can enjoy playing with different colors or different ideas. To make great art, you gotta be willing to ruin, the good realism, believable details that you create. And so a really easy way to do that is just photocopy your work, and then you can play with it. Okay, there's the final piece. This is the pineapple challenge. Very difficult drawing assignment, but go ahead and take it. It's a rite of passage. Slightly different angle, but go ahead and use this for your own reference.